I'm going to need you to sign a 19-page paper. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're just going to record it. I want to try and send it to all of you after. I want to send the slides and everything. And yeah, if my connection is kind of off, you can't hear me, just message me, like say something in the chat. I'll fix it. We'll go from there. We'll go from there. Okay, let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking more about marketing and basically getting clients into your program. So I have a three-step profit pathway I want to go over. And all of you, I'm pretty sure all of you should be fitness coaches here, right? Trying to scale more clients, more money, more freedom, more impact. And if that's you, drop some fire in the chat. All right, let's make this interact. Drop some fire. All right, if you want to make, I'm going to lay out the process step by step. I want to have, some questions come in and drop some fire. I don't even know if I could see the chat, but let's do it. All right, I see him coming in. Cool, cool, cool. I've used this strategy to help hundreds of people. I know it can help all of you as well. Success loves speed. I want to dive right in. Let's talk about the first thing. So first is awareness, right? So I don't know if anyone was listening before. Miles was the first one here. And with him, like we talked about, he wasn't really posting before. Now he's just posting, and people just know like what he does, right? It doesn't even necessarily need to be crazy edits or anything. You could just do raw videos in the beginning. People just need to know like you actually have a program. You're actually alive and you're posting on social media. So people need to be aware of this, all right? And I said consistently because you don't want to just be doing some of these methods we're going to talk about and then just stop, right? Maybe you post one day and then you're off for 3 days. You have to be consistent because your audience is going to buy from the coach that is consistent. You have to realize you're competing with people that post a lot, right? So, and that's just with social media. And so let's talk about forms of awareness. First, we talked about free content platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I'm assuming, all of you have that. But what all of you should keep in mind as well, what we forget about, you could come up with systems for word of mouth. You could come up with systems for referrals. You could come out with an email list. You could even do cold calling. You could do paid ads. You can also have affiliates. So if you know a physical therapist that's a friend or a chiropractor, right, you guys could send each other clients. I think a lot of you are maybe just focused. I have to post like a lot on social media, which is great, but there's so many other, things you can do to actually get people to know you and what you do that you have this program. All right. And I want you to comment, use the chat. Which one do you use the most? Is it free content? Is it word of mouth, referrals? Maybe you guys are sending emails, calling affiliates. Let me know. Let me know. I wanna see some stuff. And with emails, right, and just with most of this stuff, okay, we have to remember the rule of time, meaning the more time they're going to spend with you, the more likely they're going to buy from you. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind. That's why we want to focus on consistency. Riley's dropping fire, Jenna's dropping fire, Ken, Xavier, let's go. Love it, love it. Riley, content, okay. Ken, free content. Word of mouth, Miles, awesome. Xavier, word of mouth, okay. And that's okay. That's okay. I think if we're utilizing all of these, it's gonna be hard to like not get clients, right? Think like this is three, six, this is like 7 methods to get clients, right? So, and what I always tell clients myself is once you get one client, like what did you do to actually get that? Because what you could do one time, you could do 100 times. All right. So that's awareness. Now, I'll be fully transparent. This is what I see a lot of coaches struggle with. Not necessarily awareness, but it's let me keep going. Right. Wait, let me just make sure we went over this. Yep. It's nurturing. Okay, I want us to write down, if we can, in the chat box, nurture. A lot of just fitness coaches, a lot of people expect to post content and then just land clients. If you're selling a $30 program like a month, okay, maybe you can do that, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend more high ticket. It's just life is better. I've done both sides. And so what we have to focus on is nurturing. People need to know, like, and trust you before they buy. All right. So just very shortly, I want to go into kind of like a DM structure. I'm going to send this to all of you after, but just let's quick, it's really short. Let's quickly go over it. And if this is all making sense so far, just drop a thumbs up in the chat if that's cool. Basically, let's just talk about context, right? So if I was talking to Ken, for example, hey Ken, just want to say thanks for keeping up with my page. If they are if they're looking at your stuff, if they're watching your stories, if they're liking your posts, they are giving you permission to reach out, right? And I had a client call earlier. It's kind of like you have to be the initiator, right? It's almost like being kind of like the man in the relationship. You know, you have that if you first meet your spouse, like chances are you went up to her. She didn't probably come up to you. All right. Maybe Jenna, you could let us know what you prefer. I don't know. She's rocking down the women's side on things here. Um, but like for the most part, right, men have, usually approach women. Okay. So when it comes to coaching, when it comes to just sales, especially me, most comes from outbound, right? Reaching out to them. So if they're engaging with your stuff, that just gives you permission to reach out. Don't be salesy. Use this script, right? What you're going to say, thanks for keeping up with my page. Are you working on specific fitness goals at the moment? I could send over some free resources for you. Okay. If you don't have any ebooks built out or anything, you can maybe have some posts that you can send them. But honestly, that's just something we say to initiate the conversation. You don't even necessarily need to send free resources. We're more going to probably help through a phone call. Okay. So, next thing is we're going to dive into their goals. They're going to respond and they're going to tell you, what they want if they're working towards anything. And then we say solid goal, definitely achievable with the right plan. Is this mostly for looks or something deeper than that? Right? So we have to kind of go a layer deeper to make sure you're getting that level 2, level 3 pain. If they just want to lose weight, they're probably not going to pay a premium for that. We have to dig a bit deeper. Hey, they're going to answer, it's for looks. I want to get into that relationship. I want to feel comfortable, whatever it is, right? We want to validate. And then we want to get into their struggles. Like, what do you feel like is holding you back? After that, like, how long have you been struggling with that? So basically, in this whole script, we're getting them to see that they need massive help. And we're not saying to them, hey, like, listen, you're really struggling. We're not going to say, hey, you're overweight. But we're basically asking the right questions to have them see that they are overweight, that they are struggling, that they are stuck, right? And you want to think like a good lawyer, right? Let's put it this way. A good lawyer never asks questions he doesn't know the answer to. So when you're in the court of law, a good lawyer, like when they're doing the testimony and the guy that this, he already knows exactly what's going to happen. He structures the right questions to get the answer they want. So that's what you need to do in the DMs. Okay. If this is making sense, say makes sense in the chat. Say makes sense. They're very important. Very important. How long you've been struggling for, right? And then you want to ask for permission to even help them. So you're not just going to jump into like, hey, I do this, I sell weight loss. No, that's salesy. Totally get what you're saying. That's something, I see a lot of people struggle with. Would you want some help with that? This is a soft way of being like, do you want to work with me? Because if they say they're going to just give you the answer here, they're going to be like, yes. Or they're going to be like, listen, I don't want to waste your time. They're just going to give you honest thoughts. What I sometimes say too, like, hey, do you mind if I get into how I can maybe help? And so you could like kind of test some different things. They're going to respond, cool, you book a call. Since I think I could help, we could jump on a quick call this week, go over insert problem so you can achieve X goal. I'm available this day and this day. Which works best for you? Okay, we're asking questions to make sure they, respond correctly. Perfect. I have X time and X time available. Which one works best for you? Okay. So that's how you book in a call. And now we'll talk about the process after you book in a call. Does that all make sense so far? Do we have questions? I think there's a raise your hand. Riley has one. Cool. Riley, what's up, brother?
Yeah, so when we ask, I'm free this day, are we going to manually book? Or if we have something like a Calendly link, what would be the difference there?
That is a great question. So you have Calendly. So basically, what you would say is after we want some help with that. Cool. All right. Since I think I could help, we can jump on a quick call. You can still send this, and then what I would say, brother, is do you see message 3? I would be like,
Yes.
sound good with you? Question mark. And then they'll say yes. And then what I would say is perfect. I'll send over my calendar so you can lock in a time? Question mark. Or I'll lock in a time. Is that okay? Question mark.
Yeah.
They're gonna say yes, and then what I usually do is I'll be like, cool. message one, send the link, and then what I usually say is you can book in above. I'll keep the conversation open on my end for when you book in. So basically, I'm subconsciously telling them, hey, I'm gonna wait here, like go book in right now.
Okay, okay. And then do you ever say I'm available XX and then say, hey, I'll send you the link where you can pick the time they
I
booked or what or
personally, that's a good question. I personally don't. You could though, bro.
okay.
And
Okay,
then
yeah, I didn't you could do the same thing.
because the thing is like I don't want them to be like I don't want to say, hey, I have Tuesday and Thursday available, and then I send them the link and Wednesday's available. You know
True,
what I mean?
true, true.
So it's just
Yeah.
like I send the link, dude. If they're serious about this, they're gonna freaking pick a day.
That's true. That's very
What I
true.
would recommend for everybody, do not, and this is for you too, Riley, do not open your calendar for more than 5 days in advance. So Riley, what is it for you right now? Is your whole month just open?
No, no, it's like 2 weeks, I think.
Okay, 2 weeks is even too long, bro. Because
Yeah.
if they book in now, bro, they're going through so much stuff within that 2 weeks. Their cat can get sick. They can freaking break their ankle. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
So when they're talking to you in the DMs, this is for everybody, and they're emotional. Dude, we all have to realize that in the DMs, when you ask these questions, they are telling you things they never talk about. They don't tell their friends how uncomfortable. They don't talk about their belly fat. Like this is personal stuff. And so they're very emotional when you're talking, not like crying in the DMs, but they're getting into an emotional state. And so keep them in that emotional state and have them book within the next couple of days. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Any other questions on that? Raise a hand or anything. Cool. Hope this is helping. I hope this is helping. Okay. So, guys, this is very important. Once you lock them in, I'm going to show you a process. Speaking of Riley, that's a great question, man. I want to show something we're implementing with him that is definitely working, and I think all of you can utilize it. All right. So, I think I'm echoing. Make sure everyone, I'm gonna mute some people. Okay, should be good. So after they book in a call, you're not done. This is very important. You're not done. What I encourage all of you to do is utilize long form content on YouTube. It's free to post. You can make a presentation just like this is made right now. This is Gamma, if you guys know what it is, Gamma. You could do Google Slides, and you want to walk maybe people through the process of like a longer video of how to lose weight or speak towards your niche because longer form content will help build that trust. It'll help nurture. A 60-second reel isn't going to sell anybody into like a 1.5K program. They have to keep watching you. Okay. So this is what we're implementing with Riley. This is what I do like with the fitness side of things. Let's say Riley booked in, okay? He booked in for the call. We went through the DMs. He saw one of my reels. We went through the DMs. He booked in a call. After he books in a call, we have a human conversation. If Riley books in on a Friday, I'm gonna be like, dude, so excited for our call Tuesday. I definitely know you want to lose these 30 pounds. Let's get it going. By the way, you got any plans this weekend? What's going on? So now they're like, oh shit, like Danny's a human. Like he actually like cares, right? And I do. Like I'm not just here for the sale. And so I want to show them like, hey, like here's a personal side. So have a human conversation. Okay. After that, you want to send client results and position it as inspiration for them. Okay, awesome. So this weekend you're hanging with your family. That's great. And then you're going to send a link to either a client interview or it can be testimonial pictures and be like, by the way, all right, this is an interview with my client, Tim. He was in the exact situation as you. I want you to watch this before the call for inspiration. They're going to get hyped up. All right, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. Okay. Now they're left with that. They have some homework to do. And if they watch that, basically going to do the sale by itself. Because then they watch your client. And if you guys don't have a client interview, that's something to write down. Get a client interview. Because then your client's going to be talking you up. They're going to be doing the selling for you. And at some point, they're probably going to say, invest in Riley, invest in Jenna, invest in Ken, invest in Keyshawn, like do it. And like that's gonna be the sale. It doesn't even matter about the price drop or anything. So send some inspiration, client stuff, and then 24 hours before the call. If you guys want to work on this, you can just ask me kind of how it works. I'll send some stuff. A VSL. If you know what a VSL is or heard of it, Drop a thumbs up in the comments. I'm curious in the chat. This is a video sales letter. Okay. A video sales letter is a pre-call video, basically does the selling for you. It goes over your story, your superhero story, meaning like all of you have probably struggled before, mentally, physically, right? You went through something, injuries, whatever. You show the come up. Okay, so it's more about you, again, nurturing. And then you go over why what they tried in the past did not work. All right, so if I'm in my VSL, I go over my story, and let's say Riley's part of my niche. I'd be like, listen, man, you're not talking to Riley. This is meant for like guys. So you're like, listen, you're probably a guy and you've tried the keto before, you tried the boot camps, you've done all these things, and you're still stuck and you're still overweight. And you kind of just like point the mirror at them and they're gonna be like, wow, yeah, he's right. And then you show a process that you do that's better. You don't sell them on the program though. You sell them on the process, meaning you could come up with like in the video a 5-step process, mindset mastery, right? Fat loss accelerator. And you kind of sell them on these new methods. And then you talk about that stuff on the call. All right. So that's kind of the post booking. These are three things. Maybe for my recommendation for most of you is to start with one and two. Have a human conversation after you book a call. Don't be salesy and be like, so ready for Tuesday to like sign you up. No, don't say that shit. All right. Have a human conversation. And then I would send client results. All right. By the way, Jenna, like this is Liz right here. And I just want to show you her for inspiration because just like you, she was struggling. And like this is what we did. We got our tone snatched up, feeling amazing, and she's crushing it. All right, so like just an example. Do we have questions there? If not, drop a make sense in the chat. Or questions are great too. Drop a make sense. Anything? Anything? Cool, cool, cool. This is all clear. Let me get to these comments. You got some stuff coming in. Love it. Word of mouth, starting to do more content, Xavier says. Love it. Riley nurture, Xavier nurture, Jenna nurture. Let's go. Ken. Yes, yes, all making sense. Jenna, Xavier, love it. Getting some thumbs up, makes sense. Cool, cool. Ken, thumbs down. Oh no. Is this not, or was it an accident? Was it an accident, Ken? You could just answer.
It was to the VSL. You said put a
Oh,
thumbs
oh,
up if you know
yes.
what it is. Like, why did it? So I put a thumbs down.
Got you, got you. Okay, okay, makes sense. So yeah, did the explanation kind of clear it up for you? It's basically just a video going over your story. Okay, awesome. And like I said, Ken, I think where you're at, and I feel like just a majority maybe of you can just focus on the first couple things, human conversation, and then sending some client results. And then the thing is, we'll see how the Zoom calls go. And for all of you, if conversion is low, if you're not really closing anybody on the call, that's where a VSL is going to help because it just nurtures more, all that stuff. Okay, so that's after you book in for a call. All right, now last thing we're going to go over. I'm pretty sure it's the last thing. Let me see here is the actual phone call. This is going to be very important. So sales. So the funnel for all of you is awareness, nurture, sales. You get attention, you nurture people to know, like, and trust you, and then you basically enroll them. But for sales, you have to have a specific process. So this is exactly kind of just a rundown of what you can do. Again, I'm going to send you all this stuff. Have a Zoom call. All right. It's a lot more personal, all that stuff. On that Zoom, here's the overview if you want to take some notes. First is what was the motive to book in for the call? And you could just, I wrote these, so this is something you want to ask them. Okay. What are your specific fitness goals? What have you tried the past 3 to 6 months? Again, we're being lawyers here. Like we know in the past 3 to 6 months they haven't really done anything. Like if they did, they wouldn't be on the call. And so we have to hear them say, "Oh, well, I tried, da 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 da, didn't work, still stuck." That's what we need them to say. Okay? And then what are your biggest struggles? And so you're asking these questions after that, what you can do, and this is kind of situational in terms of context, what they're telling you, dig deeper into their pains, into their visions. I feel like this is something that some of you may struggle with because on your calls, you may be a little bit robotic. That's okay. Let's fix it. All right. So what you can do, right? I have John here. Let's just random name. So, John, when we lose the 30 pounds and you do have more energy, how is that gonna benefit other areas of your life? And you guys, it's all about tonality as well. You see how I'm not like rushing through it. So, John, when you lose 30 pounds, like relax. Slow it down so he can actually process the words of what you're even saying, right? You really want to paint the picture. Also, you want to do the opposite, meaning like, okay, you want to paint the vision, but paint the consequence. Write this down in the chat because a lot of you don't do this. Paint the consequence. Well, John, like, we're talking about this, you want to lose weight. Like, let's just say that aside, what would happen if in 6 months you're exactly where you're at right now? Oh my God, my energy is gonna be low. I have that new promotion coming up. I'm gonna be freaking struggling. Blah 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 blah. All right, so I'm getting some comments here. Do we have questions? Let me see. Let me see. Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you have a structure for the interview, Danny? With all of these questions be sent in the follow. Yes, I will. I will send it. Yes, yes. Awesome. So, how do Jenna? I could send you something structure for the interview. That's a great question. That's a great question. So, for everybody, how I structure Zooms is a discovery. So basically, this is the discovery. If you see like my little cursor here, this is the discovery, like kind of diving into their goals. And then if you feel like you can actually help them, you get into what I have is an offer sheet. I help my clients with like build out an offer sheet that they present and they kind of go over on Zoom. So I could send you some resources that can help you out, Jenna, if that makes sense. Let me see. And I'll just actually write that down so I do not forget. Let me see. And yes, I will send all the questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
I meant when you interview so you have a testimonial to send through
Oh,
YouTube. Is there like a structure so that
mm,
it hits on all the things?
my
So
bad.
yeah, like a story.
Let me write that down. Yes, 100% I do. That's a great question. I'll actually try and send it to all of you if that's cool. Amazing question. Uh,
Thank you.
you're talking about the client proof, the interview?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got it. Yes,
Hmm.
I will definitely send that over. So basically what she's asking about is after you book the call, when you send the client interview, on that interview, yes, you should be asking specific questions. Where were you? What were you struggling with before the program? So the audience could kind of resonate. What were some things holding you back from joining, right? Because the audience probably has the same hesitations, right? So amazing question. Yes, I'm gonna send that over. Love that. Paint the consequence. Yes, 100%. Okay, okay. I'm glad this is making sense. Thank you, chat. Thank you for keeping it engaging. Now, very important. After you feel like they can actually help, and one thing you want to think of is like you want to make sure before you present the program, you want to make sure the wound is wide enough. Okay, if you get into your program and you're just dealing with a band-aid cut and you do not dig deep into pain, like you want to think like you're a doctor. You have to perform surgery, right? This is not like a $20 program. Okay, we're here for the life transformation, but they have to be in enough pain to see the value. Okay. So now when you get into kind of what you offer, this is a 9-step process that you can show and break down. First is going to be a general overview. Now, workouts, nutrition, accountability, keep it simple. Something to write down is create a unique name. So do not just say, okay, Riley, yeah, you're going to get workouts, nutrition, accountability, and then you're on to the next thing. Right? No, you're going to get a customized workout system, right? And you come up with some unique mechanism, unique name that fits kind of your program. Okay. Then you show the systems you use to deliver the workouts. Are you using like a Premier app? I have my clients use ABC Trainerize. So you could show pictures of the calendar, the workouts, the process, like have them visualize doing the program. Okay. Next, break this down into phases. This really helps when you break down your program into boom, onboarding. Phase 2, full body construction. These are just examples. Phase 3, fat loss. Then right? The client, the prospect, like in their mind, they're going to start like putting the dots together of exactly how this works. And they're going to envision signing up with you. And they're going to be like, oh my God, phase 3, I can't wait. I'm going to lose fat. I'm going to go to the beach. So you want to make sure you lay that out. Next thing is lay out some bonuses. How you do this is there's things in your program that you already provide. So for example, let's say Xavier, I'm just calling people out. Let's say Xavier has fat loss nutrition guide that he gives to every client. Okay, we're gonna take that. This is for all of you. We're gonna take that out of the general program and we're gonna add it as a bonus because it just gives the perceived value that this is extra on top of your general program. Okay, so your bonuses, just pull them out of your core package and add them as bonuses. What I even used to do, if you want to get even crazy, I think Riley will like this because he likes Hermosi. But what I even used to do, it started to confuse people a bit, but I don't know if I was talking to the wrong people. I would even put a price tag next to my bonuses and be like, you have a fat loss nutrition guide, value of 200. You have unlimited program adjustments, value of 600. Da, da, da. Today, $0. So it's like you put the bonuses, they're already in your program, and then you could even price them. You could product price them. And since they're bonuses, you could be like, since you're on the call today, you're taking fast action. We just threw these bonuses in, no charge. Okay. This is how our premier program works. Something along the lines of that. All right. I hope that makes sense. Don't necessarily have to do that. And why it was kind of confusing people for me, it was like they were seeing that price, they thought it was the cost of the program, whatever. You can just throw in bonuses and add it as a list. All right. After the bonuses, social proof. Okay. By the way, just wanted to show you, John, like these are some clients that use this process that were in your situation. They were struggling with the fat. They had low energy. And look at Tim right here. Lost 22 pounds. Feels amazing. Look at Josh. Lost 15 pounds. Lost the stomach fat. Has the same job as you. Show them for inspiration. Okay. Last couple things. Add a guarantee. Guys, we want to make an offer where if your client hears it or prospect, like it's hard to say no. So if you say, okay, also, John, just want to let you know, if by the end of your first term with me, you followed everything, that's the key. Make sure you say that. You followed everything, but you're not feeling any better at all, like, and you're just like, don't like the program, I won't even question you. I'll literally give you every dollar you invested back into your pocket. And they're like, okay, like this guy's serious. Now, after that, I want you to stop sharing your screen because you'll be sharing your screen and then have them resell the program back to you asking what stood out the most. All right, so John, after hearing all that, what stood out the most? Oh, I need the nutrition, the workouts, XYZ. Okay, why do you feel like you need that? So they're selling it back to you. And then you could drop price, go over logistics. By that time, they should already be sold and get paid on the call. Any questions on that? On that, we need to have some questions. Anything? Riley, let's go. Let's hear it, dude.
I just had a point on bonuses that was helpful for me. So like when you said the bonuses are something you might pull out, for me, what I did is like some of the bonuses I have are things that they're gonna come up for sure. Like for me, I have a going out grub guide, I have a recipe guide, I have a fast food order guide. So it's gonna be like for me, it's like there's gonna be a problem that comes up that they're gonna have. So just make something. So I
Love it.
always say, I'm gonna give you aces up your sleeve, so you always have something to pull out with any obstacle, and then whatever else it is.
Genius, genius. Love that. 100%. So basically, problems that they're gonna run into, let's say we know that clients may need a food scale and they
Yeah,
need,
I do that. Yeah.
right? So Riley even personally sends them a package like with a handwritten card. Dude's a savage. Dude's a savage. But what you can even do is in your bonuses, you don't have to do that, but like you can put a guide where it's like a prep guide and you put links to supplements. You put links to the Amazon food scale. Like just set it up for them. And then you could put it in your package as a bonus for just as an add-on, or if you want to add a price amount but you don't like necessarily charge for it, it's just a bonus. So Riley, thank you for bringing that up. Now, I understand that this 9-step, like you want to really, here's the thing, you want to cut the fat, you don't want to ramble. With a specific process like this, where with high ticket, it's easy to talk a lot during the call. Okay, one thing that I want you to realize is like, don't spend too much of the call coaching them up. I feel like a lot of you do that. And like they're sharing their issues and you're like, all right, John, well, listen, if you're struggling with this, you have to do X, Y, like save that for the program. Save that for the program, okay? Get into this and how you're going to stay concise. This is going to be very important. Write this down in the chat if you can. Write down the abbreviation FAB, F-A-B. Write that down in the chat. FAB, F-A-B. Okay. What this stands for is feature, advantage, benefit. This changed my life. There's a reason why I remember this since years ago. So it was actually a car salesman that was part of our mentorship that taught us this. Kind of funny. But it was like luxury cars and it just stuck with me forever. When you are going through workouts, nutrition, even the bonuses, anything, use FAB. Meaning, you're going to talk about the feature, then you're going to talk about the advantage of the feature, and then the benefit. For example, this is a perfect line to demonstrate this. So John, next I'm going to, and you're like going through the offer sheet, right? So John, next I'm going to build custom workouts for you. That's the feature. That are tailored around your busy schedule. So you're not spending hours in the gym. That's the advantage that he's getting, like compared to other programs, right? That way, you can lose the belly fat and have more energy for your kids. That's the benefit of all of that, right? Can you see how that's different than, okay, so you're going to get custom workouts and you can do them whenever you want. Okay, then you're going to get nutrition. Like, no one cares. No, really, no one cares. So I'm being honest. No, I'm sure you guys all have great programs, all of that, but let me ask all of you. Okay, in the last, I'm gonna put in the chat, In the last, let's say 1 to 2 years, when was the last, have you guys got an oil change? I'm just curious. Have you guys got an oil change? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you have. 12, if you haven't, you should probably get your car checked. I'm just wondering though. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Okay. No, yes. That's funny. That's funny. So now, when you got most of you have, Riley, I don't know what's going on. If you don't drive, it's all good. I know you're at school. I'm just playing around. Listen, when you get your oil change, I'm curious. Let me know in the chat one more time. Do you go and drop off your car and you ask for an oil change and you ask the guy at the front, you're like, hey, like, let me know how this works. I wanna come and I wanna see how you change my oil and I wanna see the thing, like the measurements. You don't do that. No way. You're like, I'm gonna be back in 20 minutes. Freaking call me when it's done. You don't care. Same thing with fitness. They just want the result. They just want to end up at the vacation spot. They don't care how they get there. So that's why we use Fab, because it displays it in a way where we're always talking about their vision. We're always saying the key words they told us: lose the belly fat, energy for their kids, if they're talking about their family. If a fitness prospect tells me, yeah, I have no energy for my kids and I'm low on, like, it's done. They're in my program. It's a wrap. All right, but you have to present it in a way that makes sense to them and it really gets them focused on their vision. Does that make sense with the oil change and the what I kind of talked about there? Okay, okay. Use Lyft now. Okay, wait, what does that mean? Is that like you could just, what do you mean, Jenna? Just talk. I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, I sold my car. Because I live downtown, I don't use a car anymore.
I'm like, use Lyft. Okay, that's much. Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Love it, love it, love it. So no oil changes for you. But
No,
if
but I
your
used
Lyft,
to.
if your Lyft got an oil change, you wouldn't be like, hey, what's going on? You wouldn't care.
No, but I used to get them, so I got it.
Cool, cool. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Awesome. So yeah, that's kind of how you want to go over it. Now with Fab and then the 9-step process, is there any questions on that specifically? Anything? Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Now just let me see. Couple last notes, and I appreciate all your full focus, all your time. Just last thing and I hope this is kind of helping. Last thing, best advice is like the process we just went over in terms of marketing. Like if you guys want me to do more master classes in the future with like fulfillment, more sales, like I get it. But in terms of your workflow, when you guys think your online business, in terms of your workflow, it should be in this order, right? Content, which is awareness and nurturing, right? Like long form YouTube is more nurturing. DMs, right, which is more nurturing. Calls, which is sales, and then take care of your clients, which is delivery, right? These are the four things. And now I point this out because a lot of you, and I'm very guilty as well, we get shiny object syndrome. We're like, yes, I got 3 clients this week. Now I have to update my website. Who's that? Put it in the chat. I know that's some of you. I know some of you are guilty. You're like, yes, I got 4 clients. Now I'm going to freaking just throw a grenade in my business. Like you're gonna do like you're gonna make a whole new CRM. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? It's like if you just rinse and repeat, and if you signed 1 client, you have to say to yourself, okay, how can I do this 100 more times? Like nothing else. And the last quote I want to leave you with is extraordinary success comes from doing the extraordinarily boring shit on a daily basis. Excuse my language. But like, let's be honest. In the beginning, before you have a team, eventually you could hire people. But when you're in the DMs all day, like Riley, you could let them know. Like it's probably not the funnest thing, right? And it's like,
Dude,
go ahead, bro. Let us know.
I feel like I'm at church right now, man. Just praise, hallelujah. This is good shit right here.
I'm happy, bro. I'm happy. Like when you guys are doing the tedious stuff, and when you wake up, just think of it as this. Like when you wake up and you say to yourself, "Oh, I have to do that again." Like, no, that's a good thing. No, that is a good thing because it just takes the boring things in the beginning, but this is what's going to build your business. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that I should say, I think Jenna's the only girl, but lady and the rest of gentlemen, that is it. Thank you for staying focused. Listen, I'm gonna call on people. I want questions. I want questions, or just takeaways. Let me know. I would appreciate it. Ken, can we start with you to put you on the spot?
It would make me go on the spot with trying to think of it. But I really think nurturing people, kind of that process of getting into the point of asking questions, getting into some more details is kind of the big thing. Because sometimes I'll reach out to somebody, they won't respond, then I'll reach out a few weeks later, and then we have a small conversation. So sometimes it's kind of that awareness of, hey, I'm human. And that's one thing that some people have told me is like, hey, you're actually getting out there, showing yourself as not being the typical coach, which I've had quite a few people say that, which they appreciate it, and kind of being I'm assuming I'm the oldest person here. Um, but that's kind of been helping me with at least getting some connection with the different age groups.
Cool, cool. No, thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, I feel like especially too, like guys, follow-ups. Follow-ups are so important. And so if you do lose connection or lose touch with a prospect or potential client, following up and then continuing to nurture them. Maybe even you follow up and you don't offer the call, but you're like, let's say you follow up and you're like, hey Ken, I know it's been a while since we chatted. Just want to circle back. I made this free training on how to lose your next 30 pounds. Just sent it above. I hope it helps. Continue to nurture, continue to
Yep,
nurture. And like once you get them results, then they'll just come back to you because they'll run into more problems on their fitness journey. You know what I mean?
yep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Appreciate you
yeah,
sharing. Yeah.
so one other thing that I've done with that, just because my mind is trying to keep track of who I have talked to,
Right.
I've created a Google sheet where
Great.
I've linked their user IDs, so I can put in a quick little note on them when I've talked to them last. If
Perfect.
it's
There you
no
go.
contact, as I kind of follow up later, so I'm able to kind of visually see what have I done that week.
Perfect. That 100%. That'll help move the needle forward. I appreciate you sharing. That's a little nugget too with the Google Sheet, the user ID. Nice work. Cool, cool. Let's see. Xavier, you there? He ghosting us? Playing with the kids? Xavier's a
No,
father.
I'm here. I'm here.
There he is. Takeaways.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I think all of this is just very valuable for me since I'm just starting.
Love
So
it.
I haven't really started any bad habits. So starting from scratch, all of this is just very, very valuable.
Cool.
Um, and so that I don't have any bad habits too. I mean, I'm sure I'll pick some up, but the reality is that since I'm initially starting this journey, it's really everything is like really valuable.
Cool.
So
Cool. Awesome. I don't want you to think of it as bad habits, but shiny object syndrome.
gotcha.
With the website and all these things we can do, let's just focus on the foundations. I know you're doing that, and I'm glad
Mhm.
everything was valuable for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Miles, you there?
Yes, sir.
What's going on? Hey, let me know if you have questions. Let me know. If not, what are some takeaways?
Yeah, I don't have any questions as of right now. One takeaway that I really liked was the idea of having a video sales letter. It's just I find it interesting because when I first started fully posting content on social media, my biggest thing was to make sure that I was able to try and provide as much knowledge as I possibly could, as much free knowledge based off of my own experiences.
Right.
But not enough people know about kind of like my story and my background and the reason as to why I personally, do these things that I do as well. I think adding that in kind of like a YouTube form would be a big benefit towards, getting people to understand more of what I do, as well as, as you said, sell the business, not the business, but sell the program itself.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. I think you hit it spot on for sure. Like you're posting the value right now and motivation is good and all that, but people need to know more about Miles, more about you because guys, we have to realize skepticism is at an all-time high on the internet. Even for all of you, like looking for mentors and anybody, like everybody has their guard up like at an all-time high into 2020 or 2018, like you could post a fitness thing and like you have people lining out the door. But now it's like people are trying to really see who's real, whatever. And so a VSL, just like Miles was saying, like more about your story, and this goes for all of you, more about who you are. They're gonna better connect and resonate with all of you, which is gonna help tremendously. Does that make sense, Miles?
Yeah, that does. I appreciate that, then.
Of course, dude, of course. Yeah, and if you build that out or if you have questions, just let me know, dude. Let me know.
Of course, absolutely.
Awesome, cool. Jenna, let's hear it if you're there. Uh-oh, she left us. I don't know. All right, we'll skip to the legend. Riley, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I had two short questions. So the
Yes.
first one was if we're gonna value stack with a price and like price drop it to like a discount, I guess, with the program, why'd you like do you still do that? Like why'd you kind of stop doing that? I know you said you
So,
got confused, but I didn't know
yeah.
if that would be something that you would recommend or at least a price anchor with maybe comparing it to like a personal trainer price.
Yes, yes, that's a great question. So, if for a lot of individuals watching that don't even have the offer sheet built out, I would not recommend it. I would just put the bonuses and then do their own thing. With you, bro, since you're taking a bit more calls, I would experiment and see how your clients are kind of like viewing it. Like, I would see how your conversion goes. Guys, you could even see Riley's background. This had me dying on our support call. He literally has like look at this. He has testimonies. So when he's on Zoom, he could just be like, look it." I think that's hilarious. Yeah, for you, bro, I would test it. I would just be super. It's all about how you position it. So something I did not mention before that you want to write down is I'm trying to think back how I used to position it, but I would be like, okay, Riley, so before I move forward, I just want to let you know that in our previous programs, right, we had a bunch of things that we used to charge for, and now in this program, like they're not even a charge. You'll see like an amount, but I'm just letting you know. That's like the value amount and how much it is. I just want to let you know, like there's no charge. Is it okay if I kind of go over the bonuses? Is that cool? So it's how you position it. If you're like, all right, let's get into bonuses, and then they see 150, 500, they're going to be like, is this the price of the program? Or you have to let them know beforehand. Does that make sense, bro?
Yes, yes, it does.
So you could kind of test if I would experiment for you, bro, on a more like I want to say like a sophisticated buyer who's gonna freaking understand like what you're talking about, if that makes sense.
Yes.
All right, let me know how that goes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Got another one?
Yeah, how long should the VSL be? Because I finished mine today, and I know you
Yes.
talked about it's supposed to be important with the story, but a little bit I felt like I was talking more about the program. Mine was ended up being 30 minutes, but
Yeah,
yours
I
was
did see
18.
that, bro. I did. You messaged me that. I'm like, oh, like it's long.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, bro. It's not a big deal, man. It's not a big deal. I have to look into it. Honestly, it's okay because so basically for everybody just listening, Riley made his VSL asking about how long it should be. The VSL should be about like 15 to 30 minutes. And so I wouldn't redo it just yet. Let me watch it, bro. Let me watch it. Because the thing is, dude, like I've had mentors that sent me 45-minute VSLs. Now that's more like B2B because I'm a business and that stuff. But the thing is, you don't want to lose their attention, you know, but you also don't want to make it way too short where it's like, okay, this wasn't even like no, this was nothing. So yeah, does that make sense, bro?
Yes.
I'm gonna listen to yours. The thing is though, if you're selling your program, we do not want that. I don't want you to say in the program we're not doing that. We don't did
I
you
need
say
to edit
that?
it. There. Yeah, I need to edit it.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna say that. Basically, bro, you're selling the process. You're selling the process. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome, awesome. Let me see. Jenna said I'm here. I would keep it 10 or less. So that is interesting. It's like I don't know. If you could fit it all under 10 minutes. So the thing here is, Jenna, and also everybody listening, I feel like it depends on your niche. And so if you're working, I know Jenna also charges a good amount too. So she's working with like busy women, professionals. They might not have that time to sit down for 20, 30 minutes. Riley, I know right now you're talking to kind of like 20 to 30-year olds. They're going to have more of that time. So I would also experiment it with it, Jenna. Like if your video is under 10 minutes, see how that kind of goes. See what your conversion on the call is. If it's good, keep going with it. If it's not, and their guard is up after you pitch the price, then we probably need a longer video. I hope that makes sense. But I wanted to hear from you anyway. Let me know. Jenna, you there? 10, 15 minutes seems decent. Yeah, that's like
Can
good.
you hear me?
Yes, let me hear from you. What's up?
Okay, I think the VSL was super valuable. I never thought about that. And also just honing in on doing like the mundane things, just like fitness, like what's going to get you like the best body is the foundational movements, right? Like you can see people on Instagram all day do really crazy workouts, which look fun, but if you want the aesthetics or to perform better, there's just movements you cannot ignore.
Hmm.
I think that's the same thing for business, like the follow up, the nurturing, the day to day things that really build a strong foundation.
Love it. Well said. Well said. Appreciate you sharing. I
Thanks.
agree. I agree. It's like we don't want to track our macros. I don't all the time. You know what I mean? I do it. I do it, but it's like it's that stuff that will get you that body that you want, right? So same thing with business. It's like everyone wants the craziest website and the landing page and the funnel to be perfect, but it's really just about the nitty-gritty, just not crazy stuff that, being in the DMs. How many outreaches are you doing? Okay, probably not enough, right? It's about that stuff that will really help all of you grow. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. Awesome, awesome. Perfect. I heard from everyone. Appreciate all your time. Now, any lingering questions, anything at all? No, 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 nothing. Going once, going twice. All right. Okay. Well, listen, that's all I got. That's literally all I want to do. I really hope you get value from this. It's kind of like it wasn't a huge group. So we did some one-on-one. If you have more one-on-one questions about your business, you could just reach out. All of you have Instagram, phone number, whatever it is. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there. But that's all I wanted to get into. Jenna, thank you for showing up. Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you. Means a lot. And like I said, if you have questions, let me know. Like I promised, I have some notes here. Jenna brought up the interview questions. I would like to send that to all of you. That would be helpful. And then I would also like to send this recording to all of you and like the slides and stuff. Probably not tonight. I have not eaten food and I have more shit to do, but you'll definitely get it. Let me see. Let me see. Thank you so much. Of course, Jenna, Ken, Miles. Yes, appreciate you all. And yeah, I'm gonna send you these resources. And listen, if you need anything, let me know. I really appreciate all of your time. All right, we are logging out here. Sound good, team? Appreciate you. All right, much love, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye bye.